Reasons for Ann-Margret's continued refusal to watch this particular episode. In 1964, she made a film. On April 28, 1941, Ann-Margret Olsen was born in Valjeaben, Sweden. She was raised in a conventional Swedish home in Wilmette, Illinois, after her family immigrated to the U.S. when she was 5 years old. Ann-Margret had a strong passion for performing from an early age, frequently dancing and singing for friends and family. Her enthusiasm brought her to Northwestern University, where she formally studied acting and started establishing the foundation for an extraordinary and diverse career in entertainment. In the early 1960s, Ann-Margret made her Hollywood debut and soon won over the public with her vibrant on-screen persona. Bye Bye Birdie, a musical film, was her breakthrough performance. 1963, when she became an immediate sensation thanks to her seductive voice and upbeat portrayal as Kim McAfee. She immediately became well-known after being heralded by critics as the next great thing. With later films like Viva Las Vegas, 1964, in which she co-starred with Elvis Presley, her fame only grew. Their on-screen and off-screen chemistry was evident, establishing Ann-Margret as a legitimate sex icon and gifted musical performer, and solidifying the movie as a cultural landmark of the time. However, Ann-Margret was always much more than just a pretty woman. She continuously looked for increasingly difficult and dramatic roles as her career developed in order to demonstrate her depth and adaptability. Her portrayal of a woman battling emotional vulnerability and the intricacies of love and carnal knowledge, 1971, garnered her considerable critical acclaim and an Academy Award nomination. She received another nomination for Tommy, 1975, The Who's rock opera movie adaptation, when she performed bravely and physically. These parts silenced skeptics who had written her off as a lovely face by showcasing her emotional range and acting bravery. Ann-Margret was a force on stage and screen in addition to being a movie actor. Her status as one of the best live performers of her day was cemented by her spectacular performances in Las Vegas during the 1970s and 1980s. She would dominate the stage with a blend of wit, discipline, and sensuality that left audiences speechless, all while sporting her trademark red hair, sequined outfits, and unending energy. Throughout her career, she won numerous Golden Globes and was recognized with an Emmy for her work in television. Notably, her poignant portrayal in Who Will Love My Children, 1983, for which she received praise from critics and was nominated for an Emmy. In addition to her brilliance and beauty, Ann-Margret has been admired for her professionalism, friendliness, and capacity for self-reinvention over the years. She kept performing into her senior years, making appearances in comedies, dramas, and TV movies. Her still-strong charisma and genuine emotional connection frequently stole the show. Her ongoing success is a testament to her unique ability to connect with audiences of all ages. She has collaborated with iconic performers such as Walter Matthau, Steve McQueen, John Wayne, and Jack Nicholson. There have been hardships in Ann-Margret's life. She broke her jaw and multiple facial bones in a near-fatal fall that occurred during a live performance in Lake Tahoe in the 1970s. Her perseverance in getting better and performing again was admirable. She underwent lengthy surgery and recuperation, showcasing her devotion for her work as well as her physical bravery. Her ability to persevere in the face of hardship only increased the respect she garnered from both co-workers and admirers. The 1984 television movie A Streetcar Named Desire featured one of Ann-Margret's most highly regarded and emotionally impactful performances during her lengthy and varied career. A stirring version of the historic theater drama by Tennessee Williams from 1947. The Pulitzer Prize-winning drama was boldly reinterpreted in this production, which was directed by John Erman. It brought the play's complicated and frequently tragic characters to the small screen with new life and vitality. Ann-Margret's magnificent portrayal of Blanche DuBois was the focal point of this rendition. A frail, faded Southern belle, plagued by a history full of loss and heartache, clinging to delusions of grandeur. Ann-Margret played the part with eerie accuracy, displaying a wide variety of emotions from fragility and desperation to moments of boldness and seductive appeal. It wasn't easy to play a part that Vivien Leigh had made famous in the 1951 movie adaptation. However, Ann-Margret gave the character her own distinct version, winning praise from many for her emotional nuance, unvarnished realism, and subtleties. Her Blanche was a multifaceted character whose decline into mental instability was depicted with devastating honesty. She was both empathetic and delusional, elegant but frail. She was surrounded by a powerful ensemble cast, featuring Beverly D'Angelo as Stella, Blanche's younger sister torn between loyalty and love, Treat Williams as the violent and controlling Stanley Kowalski, and Fred Sadoff, Randy Quaid, and Erica John in supporting parts that enhanced the story's overall complexity. The television movie was well received by critics and won multiple awards, earning 4 Emmy Awards and proving that, with skill and attention to detail, television could compete with the finest in motion picture. The renowned Golden Globe Award, one of many that Ann-Margret would win during her illustrious career, was given in recognition of her outstanding performance. Her development as an actress underwent a sea change with this performance, demonstrating once more that she was more than just a glitzy performer. She was a dramatic, solemn force that could control the screen with poise and dignity. In the 2017 heist comedy Going in Style, a contemporary reimagining of the classic 1979 movie, Ann-Margret made a triumphant and endearing comeback to the big screen. The film, which was directed by actor-director Zach Braff, was a delightful fusion of humor, social criticism, and traditional friendship. The story, which is set against the backdrop of corporate greed and economic uncertainty, centers on 3 retirees and lifelong friends, played by movie stars Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, and Alan Arkin, who become financially stranded after their pensions are abruptly revoked because of dubious business practices. Motivated by a feeling of justice and desperation, the 3 devise a bold scheme to loot the exact bank that put them in a difficult situation, transforming the movie into an unusual comedy that is full of heartfelt observations about resiliency and aging, as well as laughter. Ann-Margret's portrayal of Alan Arkin's character's vivacious and affectionate love interest, Annie Santori, added romance and energy to the story. Her understated yet endearing performance demonstrated her continuing charisma and film presence. Many decades after her first appearance in Hollywood, Going in Style was a commercial success, especially with older audiences who valued its relevant themes and outstanding cast. Despite receiving mixed reviews from critics who praised its lighthearted tone and others who thought it fell short of the original. Known for her lively energy and compelling on-screen persona, Ann-Margret was a legendary singer and actress. She was also a loving stepmother to 3 children from her husband Roger Smith's previous marriage. As Ann-Margret's husband and dependable manager for a large portion of her career, Roger Smith, an outstanding actor himself, played a crucial part in her life. Their union lasted an amazing 50 years and was a great partnership on both a personal and professional level. They were wed on May 8, 1967, and stayed together until June 4, 2017, when Roger Smith passed away. In the world of Hollywood, where partnerships are sometimes short-lived, their enduring marriage was noteworthy. The pair showed a strong affinity and regard for one another that endured over time as they helped one another through different phases of their jobs and personal struggles. Ann-Margret's romantic life before meeting Roger Smith featured a number of well-known people, which reflected her lively and complex nature. She formerly had a love relationship with Eddie Fisher, a well-known singer and actor of the time who was renowned for his charisma and silky voice. Given Fisher's popularity in the entertainment world, the public was interested in their connection. Ann-Margret also had a brief engagement to media mogul and television producer Burt Sugarman. The brief engagement gave her early romantic encounters a new chapter, despite its brief duration. Her relationship with the legendary king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, is arguably one of the most well-known and fascinating. During their time together in the 1964 movie Viva Las Vegas, Ann-Margret and Elvis had a strong connection off-screen that some have said had love overtones. Fans were enthralled by their on- and off-screen chemistry, which continues to be fascinating in the annals of pop culture. Beyond her romantic life and acting profession, Ann-Margret became fascinated about motorbike riding, which was uncommon for women in the 1960s, particularly those working in the entertainment sector. Her passion for motorcycles went beyond a simple pastime. It turned into a defining characteristic of her public image. She demonstrated her courage and sense of adventure when she rode a 500 cubic centimeters Triumph T100C Tiger motorcycle in the 1966 movie The Swinger. Her genuine dedication to the sport was demonstrated by the inclusion of this same kind of motorcycle in her live stage performances and TV specials. It was frequently modified with an unconventional electric starter for convenience of usage. There was more to her relationship with Triumph motorcycles than just riding. Throughout the 1960s, she was heavily featured in the company's official commercials. By promoting the brand and the image of female motorcycle riders, These ads helped establish Ann-Margret as a pioneer in that era's representation of female empowerment and independence. But there were dangers associated with her passion for motorcycles. Ann-Margret was flung from her motorbike in a major accident in rural Minnesota in 2000. A less motivated person would have been handicapped by the injuries from the collision, which included a fractured shoulder and 3 broken ribs. Even though her injuries were severe, her fortitude was evident, and she recovered to resume her busy lifestyle. Her fearlessness and refusal to let failure define her were highlighted by this episode. For Ann-Margret, riding a motorbike was more than simply a pastime. It was a manifestation of her lively personality, daring nature, and defiance of conventional norms for women, particularly those in the spotlight. Many admirers consider Ann-Margret's performance in the 1964 musical picture Viva Las Vegas to be one of her most memorable roles, and she still refuses to watch it again. The movie has a complex emotional place in her heart despite its enduring appeal and the smoldering on-screen chemistry she had with Elvis Presley. In rare interviews, she has admitted that she has never been able to see the entire film since its premiere, despite acknowledging its cultural significance and being proud of the artistic work she made to it. The motivations extend well beyond criticism of art. They are extremely intimate and connected to her close personal friendship with Elvis Presley at the time, as well as the behind-the-scenes events of production. Ann-Margret's career took a significant shift when she filmed Viva Las Vegas. She was already well known at the age of 23 for her captivating performance in films such as Bye Bye Birdie, but Viva Las Vegas thrust her into a whole new level of fame. Hollywood has never seen Ann-Margret like this before, because to the film's stunning musical sequences, lively dancing, and glitzy style. She was the ideal match for Elvis Presley's self-assured swagger. She was seductive yet captivating, humorous yet authoritative. However, a much more personal and ultimately devastating chapter in her life was also made possible by this professional pairing. Ann-Margret and Elvis started a passionate romance while the movie was being made, which would lead to years of rumors and tabloid conjecture. Ann-Margret subsequently acknowledged in her book that their relationship was not only romantic, but also intensely spiritual and emotionally charged, even though the two never openly acknowledged the full scope of their relationship at the time. Their love of music was one of their shared passions, an unexpected shyness and humility that united them off camera. In fact, set crews would frequently remark on how their genuine love permeated their roles, giving every on-screen flirtation an unmistakable sense of realism. But there was a price for this intimacy. As their bond grew, it became more and more obvious that Elvis would never be able to devote himself entirely to Ann-Margret because of his environment, which was dominated by his manager Colonel Tom Parker and intertwined with the demands of his loyal fan base. Elvis loved her, but the affair ended because of his relationship with Priscilla Beaulieu, whom he had pledged to marry, and the carefully controlled image that his handlers had created. The split was sad but not sudden. It crushed Ann-Margret's heart, and she found it challenging to relive the experiences connected to Viva Las Vegas because of the emotional fallout. Even after she married actor Roger Smith, a partnership that would last for 50 years, and went on to have a successful career in theater, television, and cinema, Ann-Margret still avoided watching the film that had defined her. Every frame brought up memories of a painful chapter full of love, loss, and the bittersweet pain of what could never be, not because she wasn't proud of the art. She claims that the songs, the dance sequences, and the romance between her character and Elvis evoke feelings that are just too intense and intimate to face again. Furthermore, the experience had a profound effect on me both professionally and personally. Following the premiere of the film, Ann-Margret discovered that she was being typecast, frequently encouraged to choose parts that emphasized her charm and sexiness above her range as a serious performer. She has talked about the difficult time becoming taken seriously after Viva Las Vegas, even though she eventually managed to break out from that stereotype and receive praise from critics for her performances in Carnal Knowledge and Tommy, among other films. She also became stuck in a public image that was hard to break because to the same film that made her a pop culture sensation. When asked if she has ever been back to Viva Las Vegas, Ann-Margret has answered in interviews throughout the years with a gentle smile, a regretful shake of her head, and an honest, almost whispered no. For her, it's more than simply a movie. It's a record of her childhood, her stardom, and her heartache, and a romance that was never given the opportunity to reach its full potential. Although she cherishes the memories, she has decided not to relive them on film, but to save them in her memory. Because of this, Viva Las Vegas continues to be one of her most adored and shunned endeavors. A brilliant success encased in personal grief and a period of her life that she holds in too high regard to reopen.